Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Market Open. It is 8:45 a.m. Thursday, March 28th, and we are here once again on another Market Open. It's been a pretty wild 48 hours for me in my life. I did not make the market open yesterday, and some of you guys who have been following me on Twitter probably know why and kind of what's been happening over the past couple of days. But it's been a pretty fun couple days. Obviously, one of the main things we have to talk about this morning: Robinhood passing $20. At one point, got to $21 in terms of the stock. The company announced some products that pretty much changed everything when it comes to the brokerage industry, and definitely changed the trajectory of that company. I know a lot of people here follow Robinhood. A lot of people care about Robinhood. I obviously have a big position in Robinhood, so it was a pretty cool announcement. I got invited to their gold event on Thursday or Tuesday, and I got to see it live. And if you followed me on Twitter, you probably saw some of the pictures that I was posting from that live event. I got to talk to Vlad personally. It was really, really cool. We have a lot to talk about in terms of what happened in the event, why the event was important and what it did to change the company. So we'll definitely get into that and talk about what's going on with Robinhood. Number two, Palantir. They got a new deal today with the Ministry of Defense in Ukraine to do rebuilding for schools. So we're going to be talking about that deal. Right now, the entire market is red in the pre-markets. We'll be talking about why it's red. There's a little bit more of a bearish sentiment going on right now, given that the market has rallied so much that I think people are getting a little bit more cautious. So we'll talk about what's happening in equity. So Palantir is down right now a little bit in the pre-markets, but that is really good news. And on top of that, we saw some due diligence that Germany, Arnie posted this yesterday, actually wants Palantir back. A couple months ago, Germany said, hey, we're going to build our own Palantir. We don't want you. And it looks like some senior officials are saying, we really need Palantir, which is kind of what Karp said they would eventually say. So we're going to talk about that. And then we got to talk about Tesla. Dan Ives has reduced his price targets to $300 on Tesla. Wedbush and a lot of other firms are basically saying that, hey, we don't think that the Q1 deliveries are going to be good. We think they're actually going to be pretty bad given some of the China demand problems that we're seeing. So we'll talk about Tesla. Bitcoin back over 70,000. It fell to 68,000 yesterday. Right now it's 70,400. A lot to talk about, a lot to get into. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's get into the market open. Top Dasher, Others Inc., Ray, Digital Content, Sasky Rose, Maddie Gers, Sethi Roth, Jack, Sam Lynn, Golden Ego, Jared, Hugo, Oak, Eeyore, Dark Star, Chana, good morning to you. Thank you for being here today. Sunny, Kaus, Shem Pasta, Mitch, Sherry Baker, Benny, Byron, Brian, Michael Schaefer. What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you all for being here today. Ian, Rumnath, Mario, thank you, everybody, for being here. Michael says, I was legit sad yesterday morning with no market open. Dude, I was sad too. It felt very weird waking up and not being in the zone. I had to go to New York City yesterday, had a bunch of different things to do after the Robinhood event, so I couldn't make it yesterday. Yesterday was the second time we missed the market open in 2024. The first time was when I went to California for the Meet Kevin interview. The second time was yesterday. Every other day in 2024 so far, so basically 90 days. This is the last day of Q1 as well, because there's no market open tomorrow because the markets are closed tomorrow. Every other day in trading, we've done the market open. So thank you all for being here. Super, super excited to get into it. It's become a routine for a lot of people. It's obviously become a routine for me. It kind of threw my whole day out of whack, but happy to be back and to get back into the market open. Okay, Duarte says, why are you not wearing what you usually wear? I have a lot of attire that I said I was going to wear, but I have a lot of attire, some Indian attire I told you guys I was going to put on, but I am actually attired as well. All right. I am so tired. I think I've slept like 3 hours in the past 2 days. And so to wake up this morning and try to put that on and like it was not going to be that comfortable, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I slept in this shirt last night. So I'm tired, bro. It's been a past couple of days. And so we're not going through the drama of wearing anything crazy today because I'm a little tired. But we're here and we're ready to go. Erwin, good morning. Thank you for being here as well. Monday, the markets are not closed. Monday, it should be open. So it's good. Felicia, thank you for being here. And yeah, Friday, tomorrow it's closed, but Monday it is open. Nemo says I was sad yesterday with no market open. Al says I was bored. Kaiser says I was lost yesterday morning. Yeah, I got a lot of comments that people were just like, dude, where the fuck is the market open? We need the market open. And I understand it. I mean, I'm selfish like that with creators as well that I follow. If they don't, upload on their daily schedule, it's annoying. It's like, wait a second, this is not what I signed up for. So we're back, and thank you all for being here. And let's Let's talk about it. All right, so we'll do the Robinhood segment first. Give me 10 minutes to get through this segment. There's a lot to talk about. I'm not going to be able to cover everything I want to talk about. I'll probably do a live stream on Monday, like a 1-hour live stream just talking about Robinhood. I was going to do it last night, but then we had to do Finance Junkie, so I couldn't do it. So on Monday, we'll have a 1-hour Robinhood segment, but let's do 10 minutes on Robinhood right now and discuss kind of what has happened over the past 48 hours. What has happened over the past 24 hours is Robinhood said, we're about to eat everyone's fucking lunch. That is what has happened. And they did it in a way that is so spectacular. It's really hard to even imagine how this is happening, but it is happening. So I think the biggest announcement that we got on Friday or on Tuesday. So this is Vlad front and center. He's really tall, by the way. He's a tall guy. We have a picture with him and me and Vlad, and I'm much shorter than Vlad. Either I'm really short or he's really tall. It's probably me being really short. But the 5'7" is okay. It's like kind of average, right? All right. So Vlad unveiled a 1% unlimited deposit boost. What that means for people that don't immediately understand it is that if you put in $1, you get 1% on that. You put in $1,000, you get $10, 10,000, 100. You put in $1 million, you get a $10,000 on that. Now, some of you may be saying, okay, well, I don't have $1 million, so 1% is not that big of a deal. There is a lot of wealthy people on this planet that have many, many, many multiple millions, and for them to rack up, you put in 4 million, 40,000. That's a lot of money, right? And even for us, like the common folks, right? If we put in $1,000 for us to get $10, that's $10 of free money that is being put into our hands. You have to be a gold subscriber at $5 a month. But like, that is the special part about this announcement. This is why I think the stock is up. I know a lot of people are talking about the credit card. A lot of people are talking about some of the customizable UI. To me, the biggest announcement was that every dollar you put into this brokerage, you're basically getting a pay raise, which is 1%. So that to me, I think was one of the first big things. My jaw dropped. I know a lot of people saw my hair on the stream. This is why I wear a hat so much, because my hair is so crazy. A lot of people on the live stream saw my hair and my clapping hands. I was clapping pretty obnoxiously. I was in the front row. I had to hype him up. I was like, yeah, let's go. But this, what you didn't see is my jaw dropped to the freaking floor. When I saw this dude, like, I couldn't believe that was happening. So that was one of the big event takeaways. Credit cards. Let's hear Vlad talk about how many people signed up for their credit card, and then we'll discuss what the credit card offering is.
I think we've made what I believe is the most iconic card on the market, and it resonated with customers. So during the event, which was at nighttime,
it was very Steve Jobs-ish. I was watching it. You were on stage unveiling the product. It was something different for Robinhood, I think.
Something different. And within the first few hours after the event, hundreds of thousands of people have signed up already to get the card. So,
dude, hundreds of thousands of people have signed up already to get the card. And what they did, let me just get this real quick. One sec. What they did is a promotion. Yes, I'm wearing shorts. You guys saw my shorts. What they did is a promotion where they will give you a gold card. This is real gold. This is one of the ones that I got. And if you refer 10 people or more, they will give you a gold card. Now, I think they're only doing this up to the first 5,000. So if you refer 10 people to gold, the first 5,000 people will get a solid gold card. It's worth a couple $1,000, and that'll be your official credit card. Now, what's crazy about this is that this is going to cost them a couple million in just marketing alone to be able to do this, right? But the argument is that the amount of people they're going to bring in, I mean, 5,000 people referring 10 people. That's already 50,000 people. And he said hundreds of thousands of people signed up for the card. There's 1.42 million gold subscribers. It's 3% cash back. So I think a lot of freaking people are going to sign up, pay $5 a month, or upgrade to this card. Now, why is the card so special? Well, it's 3% cash back. And 3% cash back on everything. Even Apple doesn't do 3% cash back. They only do 3% cash back on your Apple purchases. They do 2% cash back everywhere else. So when you're getting 3% cash back to shop everywhere, you got to really ask yourself a question. Why am I using other credit cards? Now, there are obviously Chase Sapphire and Amex. There's all these different cards that exist, but the far majority of consumers don't use the most elite credit cards. The idea behind the credit card was, hey, how can we offer something to consumers that's like a Chase Sapphire experience, but there's no annual fee except the $5 a month for gold. And you get 3% cash back. You get some of the same benefits. You get 5% cash back on travel. Robinhood Travel just launched yesterday as well. So There are a lot of reasons to get excited about this credit card. We'll talk more about the unit economics on this a little later. I know a lot of people have been saying, how do they afford this? Like, this feels like it's too much. How are they doing this? Like, how are they just giving it away for free? They're not giving it away for free. There is an entire business model associated with this. Vlad talked a lot about this at the event on the economics of how they're affording to do this. And what it goes to show you that they're a tech-focused company that has fixed costs, that is able to do these offerings. Credit cards are the most profitable vectors of the financial industry for those that understand the credit card ecosystem. And Fidelity and Schwab can't give you 1% on 7 trillion. Just like Fidelity and Schwab, when Robinhood was getting started in 2015, couldn't give you no commission trading, right? If you're a Schwab customer and you pay $10 a trade for the past 20 years, Schwab can't like just start giving random people no commission trading and then say, hey, you still have to pay $10. They have to do it across the board. Well, if they do it across the board, then their entire business model gets disrupted. That's where Robinhood was able to just disrupt immediately 10 years ago. And now it's like Schwab can't give you 1% on all their assets. They have too many assets. So those people might end up leaving and Schwab has to stomach that, or they have to adjust. It's a sort of innovator's dilemma situation for a lot of the big guys. And Robinhood, with this product rollout, I mean, this card is just absolutely gorgeous in the context of what they're doing. The presentation of it as well was very, very, very exciting. And so it was pretty cool to see how this played out. Marvin says, does that card offer for 10 referral only, or will be offered to gold members? You have to be a gold member and you have to get 10 people to sign up to gold. That's what it means, right? They're going to sign up for the credit card if they're signing up for gold. And that's how you get access to it. And they give it to the first 5,000 people that do it. Amit, if I put 1,000 to Robinhood, I'll get a 1% bump. Will I get 3% on 1,000 or 1,010 when I transfer to the Roth IRA? You'll get 3% on the 1,010. So I'm happy you bring this up. Let's say you accumulate $100 in cash back rewards from your 3% after using the Robinhood credit card, right? That $100 in one button, they were showing this on the presentation, you can transfer it to your brokerage. Now, when you take that $100 that you just got from 3% cash back, you get 1% on that when it goes into your brokerage. And then if you leave it there, if you're a gold member, you get 5% APY. And 5% will turn into 4.75 as the federal funds rate comes down. But right now, 5% APY is the best you can get anywhere. And granted, every brokerage is offering something similar to that, right? Money market funds. But the point is, it's in one consolidated ecosystem. So they're literally giving you almost 8% APY essentially on your cash, which is insane. Now, how do they do this? I'll talk more about the unit economics later. A lot of it just has to do with the cash that they're generating in terms of revenue on the net deposits and the yield. That's a very small yield, but it's enough of a yield for them to split it 90-10, 10% for Robinhood, 90% for the consumer. And that results in a fucking phenomenal user experience. And so that's what we got going on right now. And it's pretty damn exciting. So again, on Monday, I don't want to talk all about Robinhood now, but on Monday, I will do a live stream and I'll discuss all my thoughts on Robinhood. Personally, it was a very big deal for me. I've never been invited to a fancy event like this. And it was a fancy New York City event. And there was a lot of people. I got to meet the product managers, the product designers. I got to meet people who were at Robinhood since 2018. I got to meet his team, his chief product engineer. Like, I got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to meet this guy. He says he watches the stream. So if you're watching, you will recognize yourself, who saw me at the bar. I am drinking a Coke because I don't know how to drink. Some guy gave me a glass of wine and I smelt it and I was like, this smells disgusting. Why the fuck do people drink wine? So I put the wine away and I just got a glass of Coke. And this dude says he watches the stream every morning. Finance Junkies. He has 3,000 shares of Palantir at $11 average. It's the first time I got acknowledged in public. I have never got acknowledged in public off YouTube. This is the first time someone recognized me. So it was pretty cool. It was an overall really good event. The way I announced it on Twitter is that my mom ironically ordered me a gold blazer from Shein 2 weeks ago. And last night I got an email from the lady who works in marketing to tell me to show up to the gold event. So we had the gold blazer to be able to show up at the gold event. And it ended up working out. And it was pretty cool. Did get to meet Vlad as well. So that picture I'm sure you guys saw on YouTube because I posted it there. He was a pretty cool dude. The first thing he said was, during the Q4 earnings, I was watching it and you said when Vlad is an above average CEO, I was really happy. I started clapping. And this was wild, dude. This was wild because him and his team, like they were like, oh, we read your tweets. We love your analysis. And I was like, do you actually watch the videos? And he was like, yeah, are you kidding? Like the whole team, we gathered together in the boardroom and we were watching your earnings. And I was like, I didn't know what to say at them. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, all of us. He was like, the chief product engineer was like, okay, so Vlad was like doing stuff right in the office. This was in California, and the chief product engineer was kind of bored because it was earnings day, right? They weren't doing that much work. They were preparing for earnings, and so they turned on the big TV in the center of the office, and he clicked on my coverage. And so this was before Vlad had to do the call, right? Actually, the actual conference call. So this was basically from 4 to 5 when the first hour of the results come out, and then 5 to 6 they do the call, and then we get the results by like 4:10, and then the chief product engineer starts watching, and then like the chief brokerage officer comes in. And then the chief blah, 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 and the chief blah, blah, blah. And everyone kind of gathers around watching the comp thing. And then Vlad's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And then Vlad walks in, and then Vlad just sits down. Like he said he was casually sitting down with his team watching the Q4 earnings call, just like everyone else here was watching it, 30 minutes before he had to go do the Q4 earnings call with all the Wall Street guys. They were watching it. That was fucking insane, dude. I was like, I did not, I'm like, obviously people are people, and at the end of the day, they're interested and curious, but you kind of have this idea around CEOs and stuff that they don't engage like normal people. They don't, they don't watch your videos or your shit. And he was like, nah, we were watching it. And when you said Vlad is an above average CEO, we were really happy. And I was like, that was crazy, dude. It's one of those things where it's just like, life is kind of wild. All I was able to say is life is wild. And so that was really fun from the event. Obviously, the product announcements were amazing. If they didn't have good product announcements, it wouldn't have been that exciting. The stock wouldn't have gone up. But dude, they fucking crushed. I think, and I saw the stock. I peeked at my phone during the event. Like I just peeked at it a little bit. I wasn't like checking the stock, and I saw it go from 1920 to 1975. And I was like, oh, okay, so the street's excited. And the next time I pull out my phone, it's like $20.50. I was like, oh, the street's really excited. And this was like 30 minutes into the event. And I was like, oh shit, the street realized that they're going to get a lot of people to sign up. And if they get a lot of people to sign up, it's going to be pretty exciting. So it was really fun. And it was a surreal sort of coming of age moment in terms of just how this all happened. Thank you everybody for being here in the chat and congratulating and saying thank you. I mean, it's all because of you guys. It's all because of the community we built. It's all because you guys are here and consuming the content. It's just one of those things that it's one of the moments you got to step back and just feel like, damn, like, we're working. Again, you guys know me, even when we hit 30,000 subscribers, I said, I don't look up. I don't take a moment. We got to keep going. We got to keep running. But these are one of the moments where you sit back and you're like, all right, cool. So something's working. We're doing something. We're trying to really build this media thing. And let's see, maybe Vlad is a stepping stone to a lot of other people into the future, and we can really establish something that's exciting for the long term. So it's been a hell of a journey. I'm thankful that you all have been on the journey. I'm thankful you guys are getting to see this happen, because you either see it rise or fail, right? It's all happening in public, and that's kind of the risk you have to take when you build in public. And to have moments like this, I know the community just you guys appreciate it because you guys are here every day and you want to see cool stuff like this actually happen. So it'll be really cool. It'll be really, really cool. Here's last thing I'll say on this. He introduced the credit card, and I put a picture of Michael Jordan slamming the basketball, and he responded last night with him, this Allen Iverson, I believe, dunking, or no, it's Vince Carter, dunking over someone else. So he knows that these guys are coming for the throne. I mean, these guys are coming for the absolute throne, and it's going to be pretty exciting to see how they execute over the next few years in terms of what they're trying to do. Now, let's talk about the stock valuation. Okay, so where's the stock right now? It's probably down a little bit below 20 in the pre-market. Wow, Bitcoin 70,800. Robinhood $20.13. Okay. I looked at my portfolio yesterday and it hit an all-time high. I have never had the amount of money I had yesterday in my portfolio. So it is obviously it's done very well for me. I have not sold anything. I'm just kind of letting it play out. Now it's not an all-time high anymore because the options are so it was at an all-time high for I was on the train and it hit 9:30 and I clicked on Robinhood and it was more money than I've ever seen in my entire life. Now it's not there anymore because the options are super volatile, right? So it went back down below. But the stock has passed $20 and it could have dipped back to 19 and 18. Yeah. But I think the reason it passed 20 is because the street realized, okay, so the stock's at 17 billion market cap at $20, take away 5 billion. Now it's at 12 billion. All right. they're going to get a couple million people using this fucking credit card. And when they use that credit card, they're going to deposit all that money to the brokerage. When they deposit that money into the brokerage, Robinhood's going to make a yield off that, or they're going to start trading with it. So it's not just going to be a sort of meme frenzy app. There's going to be actual like deposits that are growing substantially. And then the product experience is so damn good that more people are going to join. I think the street was like, we really have to think about this seriously. Yes, it's a fintech, and maybe we need to be careful about the multiples on fintech, but there's not that big of a multiple on it, given there's $5 billion in cash already. So $25 to me is what my price target is. A lot of people have been saying that's bearish and that it's going way past 25. I don't know. I think 25 is still going to be maybe hard to achieve simply because of the fact that there might be a pullback anytime between, like, yeah, we're at 20 right now, but what if the S&P drops 5%? Like, we're probably going to be back at 16, right? It's just the nature of the markets. Will it deserve to be at 16? No, I think that will be a buy the fucking dip if that happens. But that could happen, right? So it might take time to get there. I do think if Bitcoin continues to do what it's doing and Bitcoin gets to 80, 90K, then 25 is very possible. And then I think Q2 numbers is what we're looking for. Those numbers are going to be big, guys. Those numbers are going to be really big. They're going to announce a lot of stuff. So in my perspective, I do think the stock is currently still undervalued because that's my $25 price target. But we'll see where it goes from there. My spreads, you guys know my position, 2026. I have $20 calls, essentially $15 calls spreads. And so those are close to in the money. And then for January 2025, you guys know I have $22, $25 calls. So those, I added to those pretty aggressively over the past few weeks. And that's why my portfolio has been doing well. So we'll see how this whole plays out. But I also told Vlad when we were there, I was like, you know, Vlad, I bought a shit ton of your stock at $8. He just started laughing. He was like, all right, well, yeah, it's just like, it is. It's just like, it was crazy, dude. It was a crazy event. We'll see what happens. I would genuinely say if I felt they made product announcements that weren't exciting, but as I was listening to it, I just was like, holy fuck, these guys. And it's not alone. If you guys have seen my Twitter over the past few days, my tweets have been getting a lot of just traction in terms of people who are interested in Robinhood. If you look at the comments underneath those tweets, it is almost universal, dude. We'll talk about the bear case. I'll move on to Palantir in like 2 seconds. We'll talk about the bear case after the opening bell. But there's like 2% of people that are like, oh, GameStop, or this is FTX. And 98% of people, big influencers, by the way, like really big influencers, some of the biggest finance accounts on the planet, Gergevin, there's so many others, like 500,000, 300,000 followers saying, holy fuck, this is good from Robinhood. And so the PR has been pretty amazing. It's not just me being biased as a shareholder saying I think these announcements are good. I think a lot of people have resonated. And now we'll just see how the story plays out over time. By the way, he did this kind of Steve Jobs type of announcement where he introduced 3 credit cards, but it ends up being 1 credit card. So Steve Jobs introduced like 3 different things, and then he said it's all one thing when he introduced the iPhone in 2007. And in my head, I was like, dude, this is a stupid idea. He was like a starter card, a medium card, and a gold card. And in my head, I was like, why would you introduce 3 cards? Like, you're just creating a division between your customers. That's so dumb. But I was in the front row, and he kept staring at me. And it's one of those things where you kind of look at people for like confirmation that the event is going good. And he literally every 5 seconds, he kept staring at my eyes to kind of like see if the event's going good, right? It's just something you do because we were getting friendly right before the event started. And then he was kind of like checking in on the event. He wasn't nervous or awkward at all, but the eye contact kept happening. And so he announces these 3 credit cards. He looks at me, and in my head, I'm like, that's a fucking stupid idea. But my actions are like, let's go. Good card. Yep. 3 cards, 3 for everybody. Can I get 6? Like amazing. So I was being the hype man. And then finally he was like, do you get it? 3 cards. And then he did the whole Apple thing, and then it turned into 1 gold card. And I was like, thank God. Because I was like, if you actually unveiled 3 cards, it would be the dumbest thing ever. So like, I would have been pretty objective if the announcements weren't good. That's the point I'm trying to make. I think the announcements were pretty phenomenal. So it was good stuff, exciting stuff. And that is the update on Robinhood, and we'll see where it goes from there. Are all of your HOOD derivative spreads? Yes, all of them are spreads. When is the card rolling out? In a few weeks. Probably in a few weeks. Okay, cool. We'll talk more about a little bit of the bear case, Robinhood versus SoFi. We'll do that after the bell. Let's move on to something else. But yeah, that is the update from yesterday. Thank everybody for being here and supporting this entire journey. And I know I got a lot of messages from people just saying congrats, and it was a really, really awesome thing. And now we just got to keep working and keep moving forward. Okay, so Palantir. Big Palantir news yesterday. We got about 20 minutes till the market opens. Arnie here tweeted this. This was pretty crazy when I saw this. Criminal investigators want to use Palantir. Criminal investigators in Germany want to use Palantir. This headline to me was just, I mean, like, it was music to my ears because it's exactly what Karp's been saying for a very, very long time, which is several federal states rely on data analysis products from the U.S. manufacturer. Due to the increased threat of terrorism, the federal security authorities should now follow suit. Experts are demanding. Experts in Germany are saying, hey, you know, you got rid of Palantir? We need to get some Palantir. Oh, because I see him in the chat, before I continue going on to this story, I got to show you guys this. I was waiting for him to be here in the chat. I got to meet with one of my guys yesterday. Well, first of all, before I got to meet with my guy, I have to show you this. I was walking in New York, and this is what I saw. What are the odds, dude, that I see this? What are the odds that I'm walking in New York City and I see Palantir Bull on a car? I mean, it's pretty crazy. But then the odds increase if you know that this is the guy who owns that car, Mr. Adam Bergman. We got to go out to lunch at a super bougie New York restaurant. And we got to hang out and just talk life and discuss things that are going on. So me and Adam finally got to meet in person. It was a great lunch, really, really great conversation. Obviously, Adam is basically one of the 5 people that started talking about Palantir on YouTube back in 2022, 2021, when it was stuck at $7-8 daily videos. He's recently had a child, so he's had to kind of kick back on YouTube and kind of focus on his family. But it was really fun. It was really fun to see me. He still has a shit ton of Palantir. People are like, oh, has he sold his Palantir? It's like, no. And I saw his Robinhood account yesterday because we were looking at each other Robinhood's accounts. He has a lot of Palantir, a lot. And he also has a lot of other companies that have done pretty well for this guy. I mean, this guy has done pretty damn good in this market, and I think he can do even better. So yeah, we got to meet, and it was super, super fun. So shout out to Adam. Thank you for lunch yesterday, and it was great to connect. So here is some of the stuff from the Germany article. So Dirk Peglow is calling for the nationwide introduction of the police analysis platform Vera from the U.S. manufacturer Palantir. Quote, especially when defending against terrorist threats, the German security authorities are urgently dependent on bringing together the information available in the different data sets on relevant people across Germany as quickly as possible. Another quote, similar programs from Palantir are already used in the Hesse and North Rhine-Westphalia. The Vera software is currently being tested in Bavaria. The Federal Ministry of the Interior rejected its use in the federal authorities, which is like basically the federal government of Germany, last year, despite the corresponding purchase option. Palantir is viewed critically by some data protection activists because the company was financed as a startup by the US CIA. So the article goes further in depth. I'll do an entire video today on Daily Palantir. So I'll have a video out later going super, super deep on this. But this is a big deal. The reason this is a big deal is because Germany, basically 7 months ago, or maybe even, there's a video on my channel called Germany has rejected Palantir. I think that came out like March 2023. You can search it up and you'll find it on YouTube. And so a year ago, these guys were like, you know, we don't want to use this US CIA spy company. And now it's like, we kind of need to use them, which is exactly what Karp has been saying. And this is where I kind of see, you know, like Karp being a visionary. On the earnings call, he said France and Germany think they can make their own thing. The $40 million version of Palantir is not as good as buying $40 million of Palantir. And so he predicted this. I think it's likely going to happen. At the end of the day, terrorist threats are big. Defense spending is going up. And federal authorities, if they're lobbied hard enough, people don't want to feel unsafe. And right now, in the state of the world we are, people feel very unsafe. I mean, even in New York City, people feel unsafe, right? Like it's just all across the world. There's this idea that, hey, maybe we need to like up our protection and we need the best software to do it. Palantir is the only one that's left. Palantir is really the only one that's left. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. I do think that this is not going to happen quickly, but an article like that coming from German media is basically signaling to the German press and the German public, hey, your perception of Palantir is stupid. This company is growing. This company has a lot of clients that use them. Like BP and Airbus are not using a spy company. They're using a company that has really good software. And that software is congruent with what the government desires. And we need to be safe. And that's going to be worth a lot of money to Palantir. And by the way, when they come back to Palantir, I think Karp might increase the price a little bit this time because he has the leverage. He has the bargaining power. So it's really productive news for Palantir. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Peter Girardi, thank you for the $20 super chat. He says Robinhood needs to change their crypto policies. It's ridiculous. I literally left their platform on that issue alone. I mean, you can only move 5,000 off the platform a day. That doesn't exactly categorize you as a whale. Yeah, I agree. And I think they're going to make a lot of updates to some of those things. A lot of it has to do with, regulations and blockchain and things of that nature. I mean, the thing about crypto is if someone does instant deposits of like $1,000 into their Robinhood account and then buys Bitcoin for $1,000, Robinhood doesn't have that $1,000. They give you the instant deposits, but there's T+2, right? That's a rule. You have to wait 2 days to get it. So, but if you do a transaction and then you cancel the deposit from your bank to Robinhood, Robinhood can't go get that transaction back. It's a blockchain. It's gone forever, right? Like they can't call somebody to get. So it is a little different with some of the crypto policies, but I agree they should definitely increase it from 5,000. That would be very good. So yeah. So again, in the context of Palantir, I think that it's really good that Germany wants Palantir back, and we'll see more about what happens with them over the next coming weeks. In terms of the actual stock, I know people are a little upset with the price action, but I have to remind everybody the thing's up 45% year to date. This is the problem when something goes up so fast, is that it's going to stagnate. It's not just going to go up forever, right? And so like it takes time. It happens in waves. And Palantir was stuck at 16 for 8 months. Then it broke out to 24 in like 30 days in 2024. Hit 27 at one point. And now it's oscillating between 22 and 25, which I think is very healthy. I think it's very normal. It's formed a very good base. We haven't gone below 22.89 in like weeks. That was the last quote unquote dip. If like the last lowest price to get it at. And I think this is really healthy. So to me, Palantir's stock price is relatively boring, which is good. But the news on Palantir is exciting. We saw the Lithuanian contract the other day. We saw the AIP Now announcement, and today we have this Germany news. I mean, the news is exciting, even if the stock isn't doing anything, which is good because it's acting in a very healthy way. So I think it is in DCA territory, and I think over time that it will perform after Q1 if they crush some of those Q1 numbers. Another quick piece of Palantir news, and then we'll move on to some macro stuff, is Arnie posted this morning. They've extended their partnership with the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine and Palantir partnered to create safe conditions for in-person education in schools. Obviously, Palantir is creating an entire new infrastructure for Ukraine, and they're a part of the rebuilding process. We don't know how much money that's worth, but like that's a big deal they have. Oh, they have that deal for 2033. So 10 years. It's a 10-year deal. They got that about 3 weeks ago. They announced that. So now they're going to be doing a ton of different things. It's going to be for 12 months, this deal, going to be providing 300,000 Ukrainian pupils with safe access to school, funding allocated for school bomb shelters, every school to receive a risk rating according to a methodology, a bunch of different things they're doing to make sure that kids in Ukraine can start living a normal life. And I mean, look, I don't know how much money that's worth. I do know that's a really good fucking thing to do as a company. And when you do really good things, when you provide value, you are going to get value at the end of the day. That is the way Palantir operates. And so another good piece of news in the world of Palantir. Arthov says, I think when Karp shows excitement around AIP Now in the Q1 calls, when people will realize its potential. Yeah, either that or they put out a press release about what AIP Now really is, because they haven't given too much clarity. I've still kind of been speculating. But AIP Now seems to be like the most important announcement that they've had in a long time, given the type of horizontal and vertical scale they can do across their customers and across new sets of customers. And so I think it'd be really exciting, but we just need to get some more updates on what that would be. Oh, yes. We also did get a downgrade today on Palantir, but the downgrade is stupid. I think Palantir fell to like 23.99 this morning, I think, on the downgrade, but the downgrade is really dumb. So this is the downgrade. It's from I don't even know what Monas Crespian Hart. I've never heard of this firm before, but they say sell on an egregiously rich valuation. Traditional bear case, right? Economy is going to collapse. Arnie said the same analyst called the valuation unsustainable at $9. The same analyst expected further downside when the price was $7. So now at 24, the analyst is punching the air because it's obviously egregiously expensive if it was egregiously expensive at $9. So you got to take that with a grain of salt, and we'll see how it plays out. I think at the end of the day now, if an analyst does put out something that tanks Palantir, the bulls will just buy that dip so quickly because we've been waiting to really buy a dip and we haven't got one. So if we do get a big dip because it declines on value on some analyst note, I think a lot of people will end up buying that dip. Dude, you're bouncing in your chair. No wonder you can't drink Celsius. Yes, like I guess I have too much energy but besides the energy part of me in the morning, which I shouldn't have energy, by the way. I've slept like 3 hours. Like I got onto the market open today. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna not yell. I'm losing my voice. I'm gonna just take it easy. It's gonna be a normal. And then I press go live and like, good morning. And I'm just like, there's something like, it's like metaphysical, dude. Something comes into my fucking soul, and it's like, all right, market open. And it's like I can't, like I was so lethargic getting out of bed today. I was just like, I'm tired, dude. I'm really tired. But this shit gives me the energy. I don't know where it comes from, but it's just the excitement of being here every single day and being grateful to do this. I just don't take it for granted. And so days like yesterday when I'm not able to do it, it hurts me as much as it hurts you, because this is honestly something I think I'm going to be doing for a very long time. And so every day you get another chance to get better at it, and it's exciting to be here. But also Celsius is disgusting. The actual drink is disgusting. So we got to remember that. Now, speaking of Celsius, real quick update on Celsius, then we'll talk macro. They're down. They're up a little bit today. They're down 8% yesterday. They amended their distribution agreement with Pepsi, and the idea is they're going to be less profitable, but they're going to have more revenue growth. I don't think the dip makes that much sense, because to me, if you're bullish on Celsius, I don't know why the street would sell it off on that. They're expanding to Australia and New Zealand as well. So, I mean, look, I don't know if this is a buy the dip opportunity. It's based on what your price targets are, but it definitely was kind of weird to see them tank on a piece of news like that. I do think the dip will get eaten up. But this is one thing that happened with Celsius yesterday. Okay, let's keep going. Sanjay, good morning. Thank you for being here, and thank you for joining for the market open. Okay, so we talked about Palantir, we talked about Tesla, we talked about Robinhood. Let's talk about Tesla now and discuss these guys. So Tesla was really interesting over the past couple of days. Meet Kevin is losing his mind, because I don't know if you guys are watching this happen. He's gone super bearish on Tesla, but Tesla has not gone super bearish in terms of stock action yet. Tesla right now, 178 in the pre-market. He sold all of his stuff at 165. It hit 182 yesterday. Wedbush did downgrade them, and I think Wedbush downgraded them because they feel, well, Dan Ives said why yesterday. He feels that the well, why don't we listen to it from the man himself? Let's pull up Wedbush. Let's see what he has to say. Deliveries, but let's let Dan Ives, who's very bullish on Tesla, give his lower price target and the problems he sees with the company right now. Here we go.
Report first quarter deliveries next week. Joining us now on why he's lowering his price target on the stock ahead of those numbers is Dan Ives, Wedbush Securities managing partner. I don't know. It just makes me smile a little bit, Dan. You could be lowering your numbers because the stock's at 175 and your target's 315. That'd be a good reason. We'll get all your other reasons, but that's a good start, I think. But it's a little bit odd. You're going down $15 to 300, and you're keeping an outperform rating. All this sounds sort of, I don't know, too little, too late.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously a great point. We're bullish for Tesla on the other side.
Well, you must be, because you still have a $300 price target.
This challenging
what's that return from 180 to 300 is? So you're still looking for like a 70% return.
Yeah,
right?
and look, we've been here before. In other words, like there's no doubt, and we call it out. I mean, this is a code red situation for Tesla. I mean, they are going through some dark days in China from a demand perspective. But Joe, I believe on the other side of this is a company, not just from an FSD perspective, but from volume that could start to get 2.5-3 million vehicles per year as we go into next few years. Our whole point here is you're in between two growth waves here. They clearly need to lay out a strategy for investors, because this is going to be a rip the Band-Aid off delivery quarter next week. And there's no smoke and mirror about it. And I think right now for Musk, I kind of view it as a fork in the road period to handle the investors through this.
You are pretty blunt. First quarter deliveries for Tesla, and we'll find out next week, but you expect it to be a nightmare quarter because of China and China demand.
Yeah, I mean, China, we originally had that up 3-4%. It's going to be down 3 to 4%. And the issue here, is just that Game of Thrones price war that's happened in China with EVs. It's hurt Tesla, and I think right now the problem is, do they continue to cut prices, or do they ultimately hold serve and focus on where demand could be? And I think as much as we talk about FSD and why we're long-term bullish, and I do believe we're sitting here a year and a half from now at $1 trillion plus market cap.
Yeah. So when we were up at 300 or 299, wherever it was, I get at that point, were you still worried about supply and you didn't see the demand issues coming?
Yeah, I think where
This is a fair question. So he's basically saying when we were at $300, Dan, and everything was going great, did you not see that supply was going to, or did you not see that demand was going to fall off a cliff, specifically in China? It's a very fair question, and I haven't watched this, so I'm curious how Dan is going to justify that.
where we were dead wrong is underestimating just how bad China demand was
Okay, so he's admitting that they were just wrong on this.
going to be.
China demand.
So for us, when I look back, that's really what's caught us, I think many by surprise in terms of just how quickly demands come off, but also with no adult in the room and with 2 disaster conference calls in a row, they haven't laid out guidance. They haven't given the strategy. You've had other noise in terms of the AI issues with Musk and obviously the Delaware comp issue, which is added to it. But I think that's the problem. They haven't laid out the strategy to where investors right now feel like they're blindfolded playing darts.
That's pretty fair by Dan Ives. That's pretty fair analysis. I mean, for everyone who says he's always bullish, I think he can be pretty objective. He clearly admits we were dead wrong a year and a half ago when the stock was trading closer to 300, 315 bucks on the potential for that valuation to get crushed if demand would slow down in China. And these are the things, if you're an analyst, this is what you get paid for, right? You're supposed to be able to project 1, 2, 3 years out and then be able to make price targets based on that stuff. So it is what it is. It's not just Dan, though. Pretty much everyone on the street. I don't think anyone in retail was like, oh, demand's going to fall off a cliff when it comes to, like, no, I don't think anyone expected that. But competition did heat up in regards to BYD. And like FSD is not out yet. Now, I think the stock, the reason it went from Meet Kevin's sell price to like 165 to 182 2 days ago is because FSD 12.3.1 got people excited. My question now is when you got one of the biggest bulls on Tesla, Dan Ives, downgrading the stock by 15 bucks, but still downgrading, how much of the FSD momentum is going to overshadow the lack of deliveries or the margins or all the traditional metrics we look at in Q1 to keep the stock in this range? Because I think even if it stays at 180 for the rest of the year, Tesla bulls would be happy, right? Because at least it's not going down to the 140s, 130s, unless you really want to buy the dip. I don't know if the FSD hype is enough to get people excited to get to Wall Street to not tank the stock on a bad Q1. And so buying Tesla before Q1, it's kind of scary. Like, honestly, it's kind of scary because if they have a bad conference call, Dan Ives just said they had a child-like conference call for the past 2 quarters. If that doesn't change, which I don't think it's going to change, right? And in terms of their demeanor, their arrogance on the call, right? Elon just doesn't give a fuck anymore. And then if the deliveries aren't good, like, is FSD enough to keep the stock afloat? I don't know. I really don't know. So, I mean, in the context of Tesla, it is pretty. You got to be really comfortable holding these shares at 179. One thing you could do is just sell a cash secure put at like 150, right? And like get some premium and then wait till it gets there. And then you get to own the shares at a cheaper price than 150 if you're bullish on it. But buying at 179, I don't know. It's a little tough because a lot of people are projecting Q1 to go bad. But if a lot of people are projecting Q1 to go bad, maybe it goes good. So we'll see. We'll see how that ends up playing out in the next month. Earnings season starts again basically at the end of April. So we get 1 month off. What I've noticed about earnings seasons, guys, is this week is the last week of earnings season. You get 1 month in between and then it starts again. So it's 4 times a year. And those 4 times last for about 6 weeks. And then in between, you get about 2-3 weeks of break and then it starts again. Or in between, you get about 4 or 5 weeks of break and then it just starts again. And so we'll be back in early May for earnings, but we'll have April off. Trader Wong says the bot, the bot is cool, but no one cares about it yet. Artist here says FSD doesn't matter until it's perfect, and the regulatory regime has Teslas literally running robotaxis and bringing in revenue to Tesla buyers. That's the thing, because I realized over the past week that most of you guys in the chat are not paying $200 for FSD. Your bull case is the robotaxi powered by FSD is what gives the multiple, not the individual people paying $200 a month. That was a revelation for me, quite frankly. And I'm happy I asked that question a couple of days ago because I really thought the bull case was everyone's going to pay $200 a day or a month. And pretty much everyone on Twitter and YouTube is like, no, we're not going to pay $200 a month for this shit. But the robotaxi, that'll do well. And I'm like, well, the robotaxi is not happening for a long time, dude. I've said this publicly. I don't think the robotaxi is happening for like another 7-8 years, if that. So if that's the case, the only real bull case, in my opinion, right now in Tesla is the bot. Like, until these deliveries get better, the bot is the bull case, and Wall Street doesn't care about the bot yet. So it's in a tough position. Granted, if FSD gets rolled out and people start paying for it, even if it's $6,000 a year, that is really good. It's just a question of when is it perfect enough to be rolled out. That's what we're gonna have to see, and if that happens soon, hopefully that'll be good for Tesla. All right, it is Thursday, March 28th, 9:30 a.m. Thank you, everybody, for being with me here once again. Time to ring the bell because we missed a day without doing it. The stock market is now open. Wake your ass up. Here we go. Tesla down 1.31% on the day at 177. So Tesla is down as we open up the day. Celsius down another about 0.58%. So that's down. Robinhood 1996. That is down. Palantir 2420. That's down. Nvidia 898. Nvidia, very interesting. Nvidia has closed above 900 for the past couple of days, and yesterday it felt a little bit of weakness at the $900 level. People started finally selling it off, and it dipped. It's still basically at 900, right at 899. So we'll see if that can recover there and keep going. But Nvidia right now at 899. Robinhood up $20.10. Look, I looked at the order book flow volume yesterday. I was really observing it. There is not a lot of selling at 20. The reason this thing keeps going down to like the $19 range or whatever is because there's not a ton of volume of buying at 20, which is reasonable. I mean, a lot of people are seeing the stock at $20 for the first time in 3 years, and they're like, should I really buy it? So there's not a ton of buying volume, but there's like atrocious selling volume. Like there would be like 400 shares at $20.05, 7 like that. You would expect there would be like tens and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands being dumped at $20. That's not happening. So to me, once we get more buy side pressure, which might need an earnings or a catalyst to do, then we'll see some momentum. But if we can hold 20, I think that'd be really good for Robinhood. And I think the dip in this $1970, $1980 range will get bought. Enphase 120. Wow. I don't know. When did Enphase get to 120? I thought it was at like 110 a couple days ago. So Enphase is at 120. MicroStrategy 1941. That's a Bitcoin trying to get to that $71,000 level, 70,728 right now. S&P 500 522. IWM. Look at that. Nice breakout by the small caps, $210. This was $204 to start the week. So really, really nice to see IWM start to rally a little bit. Again, some of that money leaving the large cap tech to get into IWM. Reddit 53.67. That's down 7%. It was at 67 the other day. Now it's at 53. Still up a lot from IPO. So not too bad for them. Donald Trump's SPAC is up 2%. Again, the company's worth $7.7 billion. Market cap is, the revenue is $3.5 million. Market cap is $7.7 billion. It's trading at 1,600 times sales. It's kind of crazy, but it is what it is, and it's happening. So that's what you got on Donald Trump. CleanSpark 2304. That one hit an all-time high, or not all-time high, a 52-week high yesterday at 23.43. So really awesome for CleanSpark right now in the $23 range. If 20 becomes a base for CleanSpark and we don't have to keep going down to 16, 17, which we were stuck at for 3 months, then CleanSpark's moving up in the world and likely will start to get into that hopefully $30 range over the next coming weeks as Bitcoin goes higher. Dogecoin has been mooning as well. Dogecoin, 21 cents. This thing was 7 cents about 4 weeks ago. So it's up 4x or 3x. And it was like 15 cents a couple days ago. Doge is running. Doge is absolutely running. So for those who have Doge, you are doing well. Artist here, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Artist here, for those that don't know, one of the friends I made through YouTube, and someone who I've personally called on the phone. So thank you for watching here, and thank you for the $10 super chat. It means the absolute world. And thank you for being here. So Dogecoin, again, it's like, and this is also good for Robinhood because a lot of Dogecoin is traded on Robinhood. Yesterday, I saw there was like 50 million Dogecoin that were transferred from another wallet onto Robinhood's app. There's like this Twitter account that tracks all the transfers. So definitely bullish for Robinhood and good for Dogecoin if you have Dogecoin. Now, would I buy Dogecoin here? No. I would not. Now, granted, if Bitcoin goes to 100,000, Dogecoin is not staying at 21 cents. I think we all know this. So it's not like the craziest idea. Personally, I wouldn't do it because the meme coins can go sour even without Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin does well, right? Because that's the nature of how they operate. So, there's nothing really fundamental. People don't use Dogecoin from what I've seen. People actually use Bitcoin to like buy and sell. People don't use Dogecoin from what I've seen. So I don't think there's a lot of utility. It's really just a meme coin to be a meme coin. but it can go higher if Bitcoin does well over the next few months. Coinbase 262, Google 152, Accenture 341, Unity 27, Snowflake CEO bought 5 million shares, or sorry, $5 million worth of shares, 32,000 shares yesterday. That's why the stock is up 1% right now. The street seems excited. I think he bought it at like $159. Is that an important piece of news for the stock going higher, given it's down 30% from earnings? Kind of. Most new CEOs tend to buy shares when they join a company. Noto obviously has done this many times with CEO of SoFi, just to like show the market that, hey, like we actually are financially motivated for the company. So I don't know if it's the biggest deal in the world, but it is nice to see that the CEO is buying stock, right? I mean, like stock's down pretty aggressively. He should be buying if you believe it's undervalued. And I do think Snowflake is undervalued because their RPO has gone higher, like 70% year over year, even if their guidance is showing 22% year over year growth. So obviously there's a 50% delta. They're probably sandbagging. The question is, how aggressively are they sandbagging? Now, again, for the long term, I wouldn't own Snowflake because I don't think there's a moat. I don't think it's that innovative, really. They have to buy 4 companies. But as a trade, I do think there could be some upside there. Chipotle, 29.30. T-Doc at 15.35. Bitfarms, 210. Ibit, 40.73. Oh, I got to show you guys some stuff about BlackRock. Let me go to crypto real quick. So Robin is up 2018, up about 0.95%. Riot is up, Marathon's up, Bitcoin, 71,267. There you go. Bitcoin breaking out. Not bad. 71,000. CleanSpark 23.83. That's up 30%. Coinbase 263. TFC, that is up 39.16. There you go. Why is TFC up? Because the market is front running rate cuts coming down. TFC is one of the best balance sheets in regards to the regional banks. When rate cuts come down, TFC as a regional will do very well. So TFC right now at 39.18, that's at 1.53%. Palantir is down 23.78. Okay, now I didn't tell you guys this, but I have a cash secured put at $23 that expires today on Palantir. So if we get to 23, I would be more than happy to buy those 100 shares at 23. I actually have been waiting to buy it in the low 23s, and my average would be actually like 22 something because I got a premium for the put. So if I get 100 shares at 23 assigned, I will be fine with that today. But just letting you guys know, those 72 cents stand in between me and another 100 shares of Palantir. I didn't expect it to go to 23 today. Honestly, that might be one of the reasons the market makers are like, all right, there's a shit ton of puts expiring today at this. So maybe we there's a little bit of manipulation there. Maybe that's happening. Who knows? But we'll see. Down 3%. I don't think there's any substantial news other than the fact that the market in general is down a little bit, even though a lot of other stocks are doing well today. S&P, is the S&P down? S&P is down. Okay, so the broader indices are down. Individual stocks are up on the day. It also probably dipped with Nvidia. Where's Nvidia? Nvidia, yeah, 895. Yeah, so probably going down a little bit on Nvidia. Nvidia was 940 last week, or a couple days ago. So that's probably part of it as well, given it's in the AI sector. MicroStrategy, $30 away from 2,000 a share. That's going to be amazing, dude. Seeing MicroStrategy at 2,000 a share is going to be absolutely incredible. Here's Larry Fink yesterday on Fox Business. So I don't know if you guys saw, I did a pretty big thread about Larry Fink and BlackRock on Twitter. That thread ended up going semi-viral. I mean, a lot of people in the Bitcoin space started responding to it, and I didn't get to talk about it on the stream. So I'll talk about the idea behind it in a second, but I wanted to show you guys the video. He basically says that the Bitcoin ETFs are some of the most important. Okay, I can't find the video, but the quote is the Bitcoin ETFs are the fastest, or the BlackRock ETF is the fastest growing ETF in the history of ETFs. Oh, here it is. It's right here. So it's just a quick 30 seconds. Let's just hear him say it, and then I'll talk about that thread on Twitter.
I'm very bullish on the long-term viability of Bitcoin.
I was going to say, did that surprise you?
That surprised me how much that's gone up. I mean, look at it. It is. We're creating now a market that has more liquidity, more transparency, and I'm pleasantly surprised, and I would never have predicted it before we filed it, that we were going to see this type of retail demand.
So you thought you'd do good, but not this good.
I thought. Yes.
Well, IBIT is your ETF over at iShares.
Yes.
It's about to overtake Grayscale, which was in the business certainly a lot longer. You look at the gains since January 11th when it first came about.
Yes.
Have you ever seen this much inflow this quickly into?
IBIT is the fastest growing ETF in the history of ETFs.
So, I mean, pretty big deal, right? Pretty big deal. Now, I'm not going to go through this entire thing because it's a long one, but this is what I shared on Twitter a couple of days ago. The idea was there was a Bloomberg article by Larry Fink saying that he thinks millennials and Gen Z don't trust the retirement system. And because they don't trust the retirement system, he kind of said that, well, if we adopted something that was digitally native for them, which was Bitcoin, then they would adopt the financial system. And so this guy, he has like 1 million followers. He's a big guy in the Bitcoin space, Willie Wu. He says the boomers will bequeath, that's a good word, they will bequeath the largest inheritance in the history of the world to millennials or younger, and they trust Bitcoin and love crypto. BlackRock's $9.5 trillion assets under management would leak to digital assets if they didn't do something. So the reason Larry Fink was like, all right, we got to start this damn ETF is because he realized the future of his company depends on getting people like me to invest with them. And how do you get people like me or people, just in general, a generation that's in their 20s, 30s, even 40s, you got to give them something that they feel is cooler than gold. And it was so funny, dude, this gold card yesterday. First of all, my mom didn't believe it was real gold. I was like, she was on the phone with me after I was coming from the event. She was like, oh, you didn't get a real card. That's gold. I'm like, no, mom, it's real. Like, it's real gold. Like, Vlad told me. He personally handed it to me. He was like, it is real gold. And she was like, I don't believe you. It's not just real. And then we got home and she held it and she's like, oh, this is kind of fucking heavy. I'm like, yes, it's real. Like, they actually made real gold. The reason I bring it up is because she was like, oh, that like block of gold you have was worth like $200 when I came to America from India. Now it's worth like $2,000. So gold goes up over time. And in my head, I'm just like, it's so funny the way she thinks of it because she understands gold and price appreciation. And in my head, I'm like, mom, like Bitcoin also goes up orders of magnitude higher than gold historically. And so there's a delta. There's a difference between how my mom thinks of an asset appreciating. She doesn't know what Bitcoin is versus how I think of assets. I don't think of gold. I think of Bitcoin. And so BlackRock needs my money and people in the chat's money to be able to survive because that money is going to come down in terms of inheritance. And where's that money going to go? And so that's one of the reasons why BlackRock, I think, launched this ETF, and it's done very well. 70,894 right now on Bitcoin as well. What else do we have? QQQ at 444.91. That's doing okay. Micron, oh wow, 120. That's new all-time high for Micron. That's great. They had a great earnings, another semis play. Nvidia's up 906. Nvidia back into the 900s. Palantir down 2364. Maybe it's going down on that analyst note that came out today as well, saying it's egregiously expensive. It's so funny, dude. These analysts will put out notes and then Wall Street will get these notes on the Bloomberg terminal because this is not retail causing a 3% dip, dude. Retail's not waking up and looking at some analyst notes seriously. These are legitimate institutions. I've met with some of these fund managers. I met with a big $100 million fund in New Jersey a year ago, right? Like there's these like kind of boutique firms. They're not billions of dollars, but they're like 30, 40, $50 million. They'll read this shit and they'll be like, damn it, I have to sell. And like, that's what will create the selling. And it's just the dumbest shit that causes these prices to go down, but it creates a buying opportunity. It creates a really good buying opportunity. And so there we go right now on Palantir. Amit, have you seen the Financial Times piece? Yes, I did see that. That was about the Germany stuff. We'll talk about it more on the Daily Palantir episode later today. But yeah, the Financial Times also covered the fact that Germany wants Palantir back. Also, Benny made a good point. This is a 3-day weekend, so people are probably selling off to not like have to deal with the 3-dayness of the weekend, right? Because anything could happen over the weekend. They don't want to be susceptible, so some people are just taking profits. TFC 39.13 right now. Tesla 177. Robinhood 2040 up 1.95%. When I saw the initial surge after hours on Robinhood, it was $21 in the overnight trading, the like 5 hours after the event. I didn't know if that would sustain itself. And so it made sense to me that it fell back down to like the 1980s. But again, when I was looking at the order book volume yesterday, I was like, dude, people are buying this stock. Like people are wanting $19, $1970, $1980. Like I was just looking at the orders come in and I was like, I don't think this thing stays under 20 for a long time. Because again, you just got to think to yourself, they are going to get billions of dollars in deposits. And those deposits are going to go straight to the brokerage or straight to generating 5% net interest income for Robinhood, given the federal funds rate. By the way, we're not getting a rate cut at least for the next 4 months. So for the next quarter, Robinhood has 5% interest on billions of dollars coming in. It's one of those things where you're like, the user growth is about to explode. The activity on the platform is about to explode. Oh, one thing You guys might have not heard yesterday. Retirement went from 1.5 billion to 4 billion in 90 days. It took them 12 months to get from 0 to 1.5 billion. Vlad said that yesterday on Yahoo Finance. They more than doubled their retirement in 90 days, dude. Like, people are putting money onto this platform, and the enterprise value is 12 billion if you take away the market cap. So to me, I think there's a lot of room to run for this, and we'll see how it plays out. And then if Bitcoin goes up, obviously that's going to be very good for Robinhood as well. PayPal 66.80. It couldn't hold 67. It hit 67 a couple days ago. Couldn't hold that level. Amazon, really interesting stuff with Amazon, dude. They announced that pharmacy, like one day delivery stuff. And then yesterday, these guys invested 2.5 billion in Anthropic. For those that don't know what Anthropic is, it's an AI competitor to GPT, to OpenAI, and Claude is the name of their LLM, and it's kicking ass. A lot of enterprises like using it over GPT. A lot of enterprises are using both together. So Amazon, basically, this is their way of competing with Microsoft. I think the other reason they're investing in them that people aren't talking about, the Azure AI cloud is growing at 30% year over year. That is doing significantly better than AWS at like 22% year over year. If Anthropic can create such a phenomenal AI offering that Amazon can just buy them later, and then that becomes the AWS AI cloud. I know they already have an AI cloud, but like a really, really sophisticated AI cloud. Maybe that is a lot more growth for AWS, which is like the real reason to buy Amazon, right? Over the next coming years. So I think that's going to be really good for Amazon as well. A couple of quick headlines for you guys. So number one, Apple iPhone shipments in China fell about 33% in February. So Apple right now currently 170. So they're down 1% of the day. That news came out 2 hours ago. We already knew this, but it became kind of official. So not the best for Apple. And then GDP revisions came out at 3.4% versus 3.2, which is really good, because if the street is expecting more GDP growth than we actually deliver, then the idea that, we need to have stagnation in growth and that would hurt the economy and the markets. Well, if we're growing, and again, we talked religiously on this show about AI being a catalyst for growth and the real like psychology and tech behind it, then GDP should go higher. We looked at the Bank of America chart a couple of days ago. That productivity is at its highest level since 2007. That, that's very good for the economy, and that's very good for earnings and companies as well. Celsius 83.80, Robinhood $20.43, up 2% on the day. Palantir 23.90, trying to make its way back up to that $24 level. Again, I think getting a dip in the low 23s or 22s for Palantir is going to be hard. I mean, the market would really need to sell off, because that's just like where the price resistance has been. So we'll see if it happens. But right now, 23.89 for Palantir. And we can see where it goes over the next few months. Dogecoin 21 cents, TFC 39.10, Nvidia 907, Nvidia back over 900, S&P 523. Again, S&P just showing amazing strength. Entire markets showing that strength. People want to buy stocks, and they're voting with their dollars to buy stocks. Oh, did we get an ICM update? We probably didn't get it yet. Money market funds. Yeah, we didn't get it yet. We'll probably get it later today. We'll see if there was another decrease. Last week, there was a $60 billion decrease in money markets. We'll see if that continued this week. Bitcoin, 70,949, trying to get to that 71,000 level. SMCI up about 0.58% as well. Okay, let's talk about SoFi. Because I know a lot of people have been asking me about SoFi. Blake says, what are your thoughts on Tesla upselling FSD for a month? Bullish sign. It's definitely bullish. The problem is FSD is not perfect yet, and all of us know that. And so my question is, well, are people actually going to buy it, even if they're upselling, right? Like, that's the big question. Yeah, you get a free month of it, and Elon's telling all the sales executives to encourage people to buy it. But if it's not perfect enough to like have me sit in the back of the car and do nothing, then I don't know if people are going to pay $1,000 for it, right? That's the hard part right now. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, SoFi. So a lot of people have been asking me, hey, Amit, what do you think about SoFi? I've seen the chatter over the weekend, over the past couple of days of people talking about SoFi. What I will say, it's interesting seeing a lot of the SoFi mega bulls have to internalize what Robinhood announced, because, some of those SoFi bulls were saying, oh, it'll be a sell the news event. And in my head, I'm like, you guys don't understand Robinhood. I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys don't get it. And I know you don't want to get it. And I know you want to stay in your bubble. And by the way, I'm long SoFi. So before anyone says anything, I like SoFi. I think it'll do well. But in general, there is a thesis on Robinhood that these guys didn't understand. And so, I mean, they got pretty upset that Robinhood basically, I mean, dude, I forgot to mention the CEO of fucking Visa was at the event, and he called Robinhood the one-stop shop for your financial services, which is kind of what SoFi, you know, so it's like, it was a big thing for the SoFi community to have to internalize that SoFi is not a product team. SoFi is not product focused. Anthony Noto is not a founder. All of the stuff I'm saying it in the context of the differentiating variables between Robinhood to help explain the price difference between the stocks and the reason why the street is getting bullish on Robinhood. SoFi product sucks. The app is not good. The business is, in my opinion, it's a bank, but it's a high growing bank. It's a fast growing bank. There's a tech part of the business. The business has a lot of good components to it that I like, but the app is not as exciting. And I think what the SoFi community had to reconcile with is like, wait a second, if you yourself used Robinhood more over SoFi, how do you not expect the world to use Robinhood over SoFi? And how do you not expect them to put deposits into Robinhood over SoFi, right? It's just user experience, user UI matters. And so from that perspective, my sort of thoughts on price action is SoFi does not have a crypto catalyst. That's one thing that's not going well for them. And then SoFi is being valued as a bank. Robinhood has a crypto catalyst, and Robinhood is innovating so deeply on product. I mean, so deeply. How they've been obsessing over a product. When I was talking to Vlad yesterday, or when I saw him at the event, we got to talk after he was done with his presentation, and I just went up to him and I was like, dude, you fucking crushed. And I was like, the product is just amazing. And he was just like, yeah, it's a really good offering. And in his head, he was just like, it was being very humble, because in his head, he's like, yeah, we're actually going to fucking like really come for everybody's neck. And he said, it's a really good offering. And everyone in that room, our jaws were dropping by the announcements because the product announcements were so amazing. SoFi has not had an event like that ever. And so I think what the differences between SoFi and Robinhood is that they're not product focused. They don't care enough about the user experience, and people are just not choosing to stay with a platform like that over a company that actually does care about the user experience. Now, in general, valuation. Again, they don't have the crypto catalyst. They don't have the product experience, which is why it's going to be really hard for SoFi to, I think, gain momentum from that front. I still think SoFi is $12 by the end of the year. If SoFi is not $12 by the end of the year, the story is severely broken. I think something will change in the next few months. I think if it has to be a rate cut, maybe a rate cut will help them. But SoFi is not going to screw up Q1 earnings. They already did the dilution. It's already done. I think no one cares about that anymore. They need to crush on member growth. They need to crush on revenue growth, crush on deposits. If they do those three things, I think we're going to be really good. If they don't, then SoFi's in a tough territory, but I think they'll at least pop like $9 or $10 after that happens. And if that does happen, then hopefully that's going to be good. But again, this gold card, SoFi is not doing that. Right. So like, this is what I'm like, this product matters, dude. It makes you feel a certain way. Like you feel something. Like, look at this. You feel something, dude. And it's about how people feel. And I don't think SoFi has captured the heart and attention of how people should feel. Anthony Noto talks about getting your money right and financial services. And it's this one universal app. Like, if it's supposed to be a universal app for all of your needs, and then the app is not good, it's not a universal app for all your needs. And so again, I am not bearish SoFi. I am bullish SoFi. I think it will do well. I think it's egregiously undervalued. I bought a lot of it at 680. I bought a decent amount. I thought that was the bottom. Hopefully I'll be right on that. But what the SoFi community is having a hard time understanding is that Vlad is a fucking founder, and he believes in this company. He's been through the dirt with this company, and he understands product. This is a guy who has almost got a PhD in math. And one thing people don't know about Vlad is he started an algorithmic trading firm when he was like 22, and he was doing it for institutional investors, and they were competing on no commissions. And then one day he was at a party and someone was like, hey, can you just do this for retail? And that's when he got the idea of like, holy fuck, what if we just do it for everybody? And so he's known this product in and out for a long time. And that's why obviously Robinhood has been able to innovate so well in the context of product. So that's my perspectives on SoFi and Robinhood. Again, I think SoFi is going to do well by the end of the year, but right now in the context of product, they're just not at that level. And hopefully this is good competition. It'll force them to make the credit card better. It'll force them to make the app better. It'll force them to like compete in a much better way, and consumers will win. So I think it'll be good for everybody at the end of the day. Also, yeah, the short report, dude. Thank you, Rebecca, for mentioning that. I didn't get to mention Palantir's short report is under 100 million shares. Dude, the short float went down 15%. The short float went down 15%. So let me pull up the numbers right here. So SoFi shares sold short. Or let me show you Palantir first. This is Palantir. Okay. So Palantir shares sold short 82 million. It's down 15% over the past 2 weeks, which means the percent of the float that is short is 4%. People are scared of shorting Palantir, which is great for longs because that means your stock's not being fucked with. Everyone was like, oh, the shorts are going to now short Palantir because Alex Karp publicly called them out saying that they were cokeheads. No, I think the shorts were like, this guy is crazy. I'm not touching that guy. You know, like sometimes there's a crazy dude on the street and you're just not going to touch him. You're just going to casually mind your own business. I think the shorts are like, that guy's crazy. He just said we are high on cocaine on national television. We are not going to touch his fucking stock. We're just going to leave it be. We're going to go short over some other stock with a guy who's not as crazy like SoFi and Anthony Noto. And the problem with that is that that increases the short float. 35% increase in 2 weeks on the short float on SoFi. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, dude? Percent of float is 23%. It was 17% 2 weeks ago. 209 out of the 959 million shares outstanding are sold short when it comes to SoFi. That's another reason I am bullish on SoFi, because this short float eventually will come down or eventually will have to be covered. If Noto drops the hammer the way, you know, Robinhood did with some of these product announcements, that short float will cover because, you know, there will be a change in sentiment, hopefully, if there's something big. And there will be a squeeze of epic proportions. And this thing jumps to $12 like immediately, because that is like 23% short is a lot sold short. We saw this happen with MicroStrategy. We saw this happen with Celsius. The question is, can SoFi actually announce something that gets the shorts really scared? And a convertible debt offering is not enough to get the shorts scared. In fact, they're going to get more excited when you do that. Q1 earnings, if they go very good, maybe gets the shorts scared, but they're going to have to be pretty good. And I think they will be pretty good. I mean, Noto seems very excited. They have the NBA partnership, right? They have a lot of stuff going for them. They just need to keep executing. And I think if they do, then that short float eventually will decrease, which will be very bullish for SoFi stock at these valuations. So I think that'll be good for them long term. IWM 210 right now, DraftKings 45.91, MicroStrategy 1963, CleanSpark 23.50, Robinhood $20.42. Nvidia 911, S&P 523, and Palantir 2388, down about 2.59% on the day. Okay, there we go. That guy is crazy. He's messing with my cocaine. Yeah, basically, dude. Basically, that's what was happening. They were like, hey, maybe we don't touch that guy. Maybe we don't do it. Let me show you guys this. I did also get this from the event. I got some tequila or whiskey, whatever this is. So it's Robinhood themed whiskey. I'm definitely going to be using, here it is in person. I'm definitely going to be using the glasses, but I'm not going to be using the drink. So these are the glasses. Pretty cool. I don't know what this drink is. It has to be some type of whiskey. Again, you guys know I don't drink. I'm not just saying that to say that, dude. At an open bar at the event, I ordered a Coca-Cola. Like, this looks like a potion or something. I don't know. I smelt the wine at that event and I was like, this is disgusting. How do people drink this stuff? I'm such a little baby when it comes to alcohol. So I'm probably never going to open this. Maybe when Robinhood gets to like $50 a share, I just drink the whole thing. Yeah, that's what we'll do. When Robinhood gets to like $50, we'll just open it live on stream and I'll just down. I'll take like 5 shots of it. But until that happens, we won't be seeing me open it. So yeah, that was pretty cool as well. Okay, one other thing I wanted to show you guys. Oh yes, Liz Young. Okay, so we talked about some bullish stuff on this live stream. We got to get a hint of the bearishness. Here's Liz Young on why we are going to see some type of a pullback
in this record-setting rally. Let's ask Liz Young, SoFi's head of investment strategy, with me here at Post 9. Welcome back. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
You think momentum's fading?
I do think
Is that
it's
how you would
fading.
answer that question at the top?
Well, I mean, you can look at it even just in a numerical sense. If you look at factor returns and what's happened and break this rally up into pieces, the first piece of it being October to December, momentum led, high beta led. And then you get into 2024, momentum was still leading, but sort of slowing down. And you saw low volatility come in as a leader. You saw some quality come in as a leader. And then in March in particular, you have low vol, quality, value, dividends, as the factors that are leading. The one consistent factor that had been leading the entire time and continues to is large cap versus small cap.
Okay, let's distinguish here because we could take this one of two ways. When we talk about momentum, you were speaking specifically about the momentum trade, momentum stocks like big cap tech and otherwise.
That's right.
I'm more talking about momentum of the rally itself. Do you think we're still cool, or are we fading in that regard too? The momentum behind the rally.
I think the velocity of it is fading, the speed of it, the fervor of it, but I don't think that the rally is ready to conk out. I think that there's still room for stocks to continue this rotation trade. The risk that's presented in the near term is the rebalance that could happen at the end of the first quarter. You've got the S&P up almost 10% year to date, aggregate bonds down 1%. That's a really big spread, relatively speaking. So you might see some of that narrow as the quarter ends, but I still think that there's more room for a rally to continue, just not at the same speed.
I mean, the dreaded April 15th looming too. Right. Tax day.
What happens?
I know. I've heard terrible things. I've heard people talk about, that could be an impetus that you could see some selling in the market. Got to pay your tax bill.
Yeah. I think that happens every year, though. I don't know that that's going to be something that really pushes us one direction.
Well, after a big rally, though, right?
After
That's
a big rally,
the context.
If people took their gains last year, I don't know that there were a ton of people doing that. I think everybody rode it quite a bit. And then we got new money that came in and continued to invest in equities. And maybe some of that rotation that's happened this year that's driven more of the rally into other sectors is people taking gains out of tech. But I think people are trying to avoid taking those big gains.
You're getting into a seasonally good period. I mean, April is good traditionally, according to Ryan Dietrich of CMT. We've had him on. I like what he puts out. Second best month since 1950. Third best over the past 20 years.
I'm going to say that again if you guys missed it. The research shows that April is the second best month in the stock market since 1950. So we're heading into April tomorrow. I know we've had a pretty good 3 months, but historically, April still does well.
Here's fourth best over the past 10, fourth best in an election year. So seasonally, you're set up to potentially continue this. And then you all obviously have the Fed and these possible cuts starting the summer looming.
Right. Well, I happen to think the Fed is going to be a lot more patient than we originally thought, obviously, but even more so than we think right now. I think that they are going to move much more slowly and perhaps even more slowly than most other major central banks. And that means that maybe they do start when we expect, but then they keep it on pause from that point. And the whole thing is a very, very slow moving bowling ball through molasses as they start that cutting cycle. Markets do tend to do pretty well after that last hike and before the first cut. This happens to be a very long period in between that last hike and the first cut. If the Fed makes it to November, it'll be the longest one ever. And it's just going to be this waiting game. So we're waiting for news, waiting for reasons to continue to stay optimistic. And so far, we're getting them.
Two things on what you said. Number one, if the Fed doesn't have to cut rates, that's actually very good because it means the economy is doing well. So that waiting period she's talking about, that waiting period means that the economy is good. We can still try to kick back inflation without having to cut rates, which is a good thing. Number two, if we do cut rates, there's $6 trillion on the sidelines. I think this is one of the things that we have to remember. That $6 trillion is not going to be getting the yield they were getting when rates get cut. So I know how she says, after the rate cut, we tend to see some volatility, which is correct. But I don't think we've had a period in history, which is what I've been saying on the market open for 3 months, which is that this is the most unique period of history we've ever had. We printed $7 trillion in like 2 years. And like, there's going to be anomalies that happen as a result of like the craziest global pandemic we've ever had. That $6 trillion that's now on the sidelines, when rates get cut, their yield gets cut. They're going to be looking for greater yield. If they go to the market, then maybe that is another way to keep the market afloat because more money is going to be chasing more yield. So it's going to be interesting to see how this ends up playing out. But that would be kind of my response to how Liz is thinking about this. Cool. Okay. Guys, that's it for me. I am done for today. I am going to New Orleans tonight in about 3-4 hours. So I'll be out there. Thankfully, the market is closed tomorrow. I'm only saying that because I thought I wouldn't be able to do the market open because I was at New Orleans. But because the market's closed, I don't have to do the market open. So I'll still be sad the market's not open, but at least I won't miss a day for the stream. And I'm going to a bachelor party, one of my boys' bachelor parties. So I'll be there for about 3 days. We'll be back Monday. I'll get here Monday 2 a.m., but I'll still be making the market open on Monday because we gotta do the show, and so it'll be fun. It'll be super, super cool. Again, past couple of days in my life have been pretty crazy, and again, thank you everybody for the support and just being here with me. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of a journey, and I think it's one of those things where you just got to keep working and keep growing and keep building. And events like these are really awesome, and it's cool, and you get to meet really cool people, and you have those moments, you enjoy them, and then you move on and you get to the next level. And I think that's the way you keep your head down and make this get even bigger over the long term as we keep going. So, all right, that's it for me. Thank you, everybody. I see everyone here in the chat. Thank you all for being here. This was super, super, super fun. I don't even know if I'm going to be drinking. You guys know I don't drink, so I don't think I'm going to get drunk in New Orleans because I don't drink. I literally can't drink, dude. It's disgusting. I'd rather just drink Coca-Cola, dude. I just don't drink. So I don't think I'm going to be getting drunk, even though they're probably going to be pressuring me to drink. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll be on Twitter the whole weekend. I'll be tweeting about everything. So you can follow me on Twitter, putting that in the chat. And we'll be live again on Monday. So on Monday, I'll do the market open. And then I will do a separate stream just talking about the whole Robinhood event and all my thoughts so that for that full hour, I can answer everybody's questions, do comparisons, talk about it in depth. And then we'll keep going from there. All right. That's it for me. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Enjoy the long weekend. Have time with your family. Hopefully you guys enjoy. And Monday morning, we'll be back to analyzing the market. Daily Palantir episode will be out today and probably not over the weekend. So yeah, I'll see you guys on Monday. Maybe we'll have something about over the weekend, but I'll see you guys on Monday. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Good night. And I'll see you on Monday. Bye, everyone.